Hello and welcome to the Glazier Nation podcast. This week's guest is Dalton Abram. Dalton is a second-generation glazier, and as you'll find out, he is significantly stronger than I am. Dalton joined me on the podcast to accept his award for last year's Glazier Nation's Content Creator of the Year. We obviously talked about content creation, but we also talked about getting young people into the trades, what manufacturers can do better, and how to create healthy habits. If you want to check out Dalton's content, check him out at TikTok at Dalton Abram. And while you're at it, if you like our podcast, please follow our socials. We're on every platform at Glazier Nation Podcast. I had a blast chatting with Dalton. I hope you enjoy the conversation. The Glazier Nation Podcast is brought to you by Glazier Nation. You can check out all their offerings at glaziernation.com. And we're also brought to you by Glass Build. But listen to this guy, not me.
Work in the glass or fenestration industry? Build your team, business, and livelihood by attending the biggest industry event of the year, Glass Build America. Join your peers, prospects, and competitors in Atlanta October 31st through November 2nd for the ultimate business building and networking event, Glass Build America. Learn more and register at glassbuild.com. That's glassbuild.com. Register for free using promo code POD.
Strike me as a dude that has big numbers on the 3 big lifts. Am I correct?
I guess that depends on your definition of big. I compete the average guy, yeah, but I wouldn't say compared to the average guy that works out.
Well, let's throw some numbers out there, man. What's the deadlift?
505.
Yeah, these are big numbers. I can already tell. I knew this. I didn't have to ask. Now, just because if anyone's listening, they're going to want to know the other two. What's the squat and the bench?
My squat, I did the same way for squat and deadlift. So I got 505 squat, 505 deadlift, 300 even bench.
Yeah, these are big numbers.
So it's like I said, it's big for someone that doesn't work out, but people that go to the gym all the time.
It's big numbers for people that go to the gym all the time too. Don't be shy, man. Don't be bashful. Now your power lifter that's gonna eat 3 packs of gummy bears between sets. He might be doing bigger, but these are big numbers, man.
Yeah, I just, I guess it's just the gym I go to, because since it's like a barbell club, it's only serious guys.
Yeah,
so it feels really average to be that.
Okay, all right.
It's not uncommon. It's not uncommon to walk in and see a guy squatting 585 for a couple reps.
I get that,
and I see guys benching mid 400s all the time.
Okay, so yes, for the barbell club, I'll concede. There's probably some serious weight being thrown around in there, but for your average gym goer that's just trying to get a sweat on in 45 minutes, those are huge numbers.
Yeah, it's not fitness club or fitness center averages, but for club, yeah.
Do you have kids, Dalton?
No.
Okay, I was gonna turn this entirely into a youth sports podcast tonight, but we won't do that. We'll keep it about glass and glazing. I have a 6-year-old and a 7-year-old, and they're both in flag football. The 6U season ended this evening. They lost, but the 8U team won, so they will continue on. It's been a tricky season. There's been a lot of rainouts, and we chose to play in a league that is probably a little too far away from our house, so it's been kind of a pain in the ass. But it was fun tonight. Both boys played well, and it was kind of this weird thing where, you're cheering for your team, your son's team to win, but after the 6U lost, if the 8U also lost, we would not have to go back tomorrow.
Oh yeah,
so now
you could be over with.
Correct. I was cheering, but they were down 12-0, and I looked at my wife and I'm like, hey, maybe we just we don't have to come back tomorrow. And then of course they came back and won 13-12. So my son was hyped. He was excited. He's excited to play again tomorrow. So we'll keep going.
Yeah, it's been a rainy summer. It's been surprisingly rainy this summer.
And you're in Arkansas?
Yeah.
I don't know if you have the same as we do here in Florida. This might be a Florida thing, but pretty much every single day between the hours of 4 and 6, it's at least going to rain a little.
I'm sure that's definitely a Florida thing.
Okay.
The last couple of weeks, though, it's been every day, which isn't normal for us here. But it's been, we get a lot of rain, but not every single day like that.
Yeah, it's like clockwork every single day, and then where it's more than a little rain, where it's a lot of rain, that's when we've had cancellations, we've had makeup games, when we signed up for this, you were supposed to be there twice a week. There's been weeks where we've been there 4 times. But like I said, my son's hyped, so you can't really put a price on that. We have you. Yeah, Dalton, we have you on this podcast because you are the recipient of last year's 2022. We gotta squeeze all the recordings in here, but the 2022 Glazier Nation Content Creator of the Year. That was a mouthful, but congratulations. You're also the first person that I've been able to use the soundboard on.
Oh, well, that worked out good.
It did. So congratulations for that. And then I guess at this point, if you want to give me kind of the highlights of who you are, Dalton.
I mean, that's pretty simple. I just work and work out and camp when I can, ride dirt bikes when I can, and just live a pretty simple life. I don't really have a lot of like very outstanding hobbies besides camping and dirt biking and hunting sometimes.
These are great hobbies, but you're a glazer. That's what I want to get at. So how does a glazer end up in content creation?
It just worked out. I just got really interested in watching TikToks, and I started hearing about like how quick people could have success with it and stuff. And so I started looking into it more, and it was like everything I looked into was just like, well, it doesn't really matter what you post, just post stuff and something will catch on. So it was just, you know, I made some dirt bike. I was kind of focused on dirt bike stuff mostly. That's what I was mostly interested in, was dirt bikes and working out. So I made a couple dirt bike TikToks, I made a couple working out TikToks, nothing worked. And then it was just like one day one of my coworkers got a new drill, and we were just comparing it because it was in Milwaukee and everyone else had DeWalt. So we decided to put them side by side, drill a hole in the concrete at the same speed, and I just recorded it. And I didn't even record it for TikTok. I just recorded it for our group messages. I was just going to send it around to everybody. And Milwaukee won by like a second and a half or something. And I was just in that phase of posting every video that I made on my phone to TikTok just to see what would happen. And all the stuff I'd been posting before that was getting like 300 views. And then I post that video and it gets like 3,000 views in like 20 minutes. And then it just kept growing over and over again. It's like by the time I got off work, I had like 40,000 views. And then so I tried another tool video and that took off, another tool video and that took off. So that's how I ended up in content creation, because it was just, I could just make videos while I was at work and post them, and it was gaining popularity.
So it kind of threw you into the tool niche. When did you try, or did you try any glass and glazing videos?
I tried it. Most of the glass videos I made didn't actually do as good as my tool videos, but my most popular TikTok is a glass related one where we scored a piece of glass and it broke all crazy, like not the way we did it on purpose. It was supposed to be like a funny video, but it wasn't very long into it. I decided to see, because we were all talking about it. We're like, I bet TikTok would be really amazed with glass videos, because it's kind of a unique thing that like not people don't really think about, like glazing. Like, I don't know, I guess people just walk in buildings, they see windows and doors, and they don't think about that being a specific trade.
Yeah.
So I tried some glass cutting, mirror cutting stuff. I don't know. I think I was just composing it wrong, or my audience had started off just being regular contractors. They're more interested in the tools than the specific niche of glass stuff. But for the most part, it didn't do super well. I made that long one of us doing those white cabinets with the glass that was glued onto the face of the cabinets. I thought it was really cool, and everyone that watches it thinks it's really cool, but I think it was too long for everyone's algorithm. People would just scroll past it before they actually got to the cool part. But I would want it to take off.
I don't know if this is true or not, but in my experience, so outside of Glazier Nation, Glazing Guru, just me experimenting with other social media stuff, at least for TikTok, I feel like whatever you go viral for is all that you'll really... That's all that will really be shared to is that bucket of people.
Yeah.
So it made
how it ends up.
In my case, I was playing around with an account where I was basically making like Florida relatable stuff, and I was trying to do like dad relatable stuff, right? And a few of the Florida videos went viral, like 1.5 million views, whatever. and like none of the dad stuff, which I found more personally interesting as I'm a dad, like none of that stuff really took off. So I can see where you kind of got put in the tool bucket, and that was your bucket.
Mm-hmm.
But you made content. You made, and by the way, I did see the glass breakage one, and I saw people doing reaction videos to it.
Yeah, it was that big.
So that's pretty fun. It was like a guy being like, "Oh yeah, I love glass cutting, so soothing," and then you break it and he flips out. You did make glass content for Glazier Nation though, for Matt Day and Glazier Nation.
Right. Yeah.
How did you guys?
Saw
like, he saw the video
of the video where we were doing the cabinets.
Okay.
Said it was like the best content. I wasn't even the one that posted it on Glazier Nation. Someone else saw it on TikTok and they uploaded it on there, and then he saw it. And so I mean that video went kind of big. What happened was the video didn't actually do that good, but I posted another one a few days later that got like millions. So then people were looking at my page. So then it's like anytime I post a video that would get like 1 million or a couple million, all the other videos around it would get like 20,000 views, because it was like out of 2 million people watching that video, 20,000 would click on my profile and look at my other videos.
Yeah, you get people that come window shopping. Okay, so that got shared to the Glazier Nation. I'm assuming probably the Facebook page, and then Matt reached out to you.
Yeah, he commented on it. He was like, "This is the most amazing video I've ever seen posted on this page," and then DM'd me. And I can't remember exactly what the message said, but it was like, "I've got a serious opportunity for you. If you're interested, give me a call." And he gave me his phone number. And at the time, that's when I was really pushing all of it. And I was like, yeah, that'd be awesome if I could figure out some way to pursue an opportunity with content creation. So I called him. We talked on the phone for a long time. He talks so much. But yeah, it was like a 2-hour phone call. And he was telling me about his opportunities and stuff. And we ended up working together a little bit for a couple months, year.
That was primarily tool-related stuff too, right?
Mostly, yeah. It was glass-related products. He wanted to make, some glass system videos. But yeah, mostly tools.
I think you got to get back to it, man.
Yeah, I still think about it.
If it's not tools that excite you though, like if you burnt out on that, go back to the stuff that interests you. Start a different account so you're not stuck in the tool bucket.
Honestly, tools are kind of what interests me the most. Yeah. It's just it's trying to keep up with the algorithm and keep it interesting. It's like you got to be changing, you got to be keeping up with the trends. And what I was noticing, it was like the more that I was trying to be successful on TikTok was the more time I kept spending on TikTok, because I'm trying to learn about what people are interested in right now. And then I get to where I'm like watching 6 hours of TikTok every night when I come home from work. And it's like, I was like, okay, I'm going to be too sucked into TikTok as long as I'm trying to commit to it. But I've had some ideas that I just haven't pursued, but I feel like though, I feel doing some point of view stuff at work. I think that'd be kind of cool.
For sure. I think what you said off the top is correct, that it doesn't really matter what you're doing. You just got to do stuff that's interesting to you. Mm-hmm. And, you mentioned the trends and like, yeah, you could throw that in here and there, but if you're doing stuff that's interesting to you, it's going to be interesting to other people. And the authenticity too. Like if it's something that you're generally interested in, that's going to come off in the content and people like it.
Yeah.
I'm voting for you to get back to it.
Yeah, I do it in way. I don't even know how long I've been posting. I think I've been posting since like 2020. So, I mean, it's been like 3 years of it. And I always I'll have this couple month spurts where I'm posting every single day. And so it starts picking up. I can always gain followers and start getting views on videos and stuff. But eventually I just run out of stuff to post. And then I'm just posting stuff that's not any good because I'm trying to keep up with the posting every day thing.
What, if the folks want to follow you, what's the tag? Remind me. What was her name?
Pretty sure it's just at Dalton Abram. I don't think
at Dalton Abram.
Because when I made the account, I wasn't even planning on posting. I was just making an account to watch TikTok. Yeah. And then I just started posting stuff on my own thing, and I've never changed it. I've never tried to start a new account or anything.
Let's hop back to glazing and trades. You're a young man in our industry, and you're a second generation, just like me. So you kind of have a cheat code of why you're in the industry, but if we were looking at other young people, they're making choices of what they're going to do with their life after high school or whatever it is, how do we get more young people interested in trades?
Probably social media. I mean, some trades are really glorified. You know, there's a reason why everyone, well, not everyone, but there's a reason why such a big majority of people in trade schools or in school that are going into the trades want to be a diesel mechanic or a lineman or just a regular electrician. They're all the ones that are like heroes in the trade world. Welders, they're all the ones that get like all the glorification. There's all the popular TikToks of all the guys doing it. They, you know, portray this life of money and the tough lifestyle, and there's just not really people promoting glazing like that, even though there's some really cool stuff sometimes as well. There's potential on high rises and stuff.
Yeah.
Some of your unitized systems and the glass that's set off of sky cups, all that stuff's really cool. But there's not a whole lot of footage of it that gets posted.
Yeah, I just saw a video before we hopped on here of the machine. You know, it's on the floor slab, and it takes the panel out, and it turns the panel vertically, brings the panel back to drop it into the anchors. I mean, that stuff's pretty cool. And there's, I agree, there's definitely not because I know exactly what you're talking about with the linemen, because in Florida last year when there was 2 hurricanes that came through, that was like, everything I saw on social media was linemen posting stuff about kind of this cool, kind of like you said, kind of like a nomadic lifestyle. And then there's all these women posting stuff about, like, you know, the linemen coming to town. I guess that could also be very interesting to a young man that's choosing a career path. So social media, for sure. We've had this conversation on this podcast many times. Like you said, there's other trades that are known, and you said earlier, people walk into a glass building and they don't even realize that like glass is a trade. So education of just what it is, right? Which is some of what this podcast does, but then, like, I agree, some sort of content that makes it cool, right?
Yeah. And it just, I don't really understand why no one knows what it is. It's kind of frustrating because it's like anytime I'm filling out any form online and you got to do like, what is your occupation? There's nothing for Glazier. And then a lot of the times there's no option to write anything in. So it's like you end up just putting in there like construction contractor, because it's like even websites and stuff don't really acknowledge it as its own trade. And I don't know why. I don't know if it's because glazing and ironworking used to kind of be intertwined and no one ever really made the separation, or if it's just because it's not really big enough trade that people recognize it. I don't know. It's like there's a name for everything else. You know, there's sheetrockers and flooring installers, electricians, plumbers. It's like everything else has a trade, but for some reason glazing just gets thrown out. Even a lot of the contractors that you'll work with don't even, you're the glass guy. No one really even knows the word glazier.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't really know how you make it a more popular.
Even glazing,
even just like window repair.
Yeah. Even glazing contractors, I find a lot of times will use the word mechanic or installer. They don't even use glazer. Yeah.
Yeah, I call myself a glass install technician pretty often because that makes more sense to more people than saying glazer.
Yeah. That's funny. So I'm an outside sales rep for a manufacturer, and that is like, if people are not in construction, that's a tricky one to like explain. Like I sell the building materials. Even my kids don't even really understand it. I sell the building materials to a glazing contractor, but not all of the system, just the aluminum framing part of the system. So it's usually something I try not to explain and just say that I'm in sales.
Yeah, it's usually not worth it. And usually people don't even actually care that much.
That's right.
So
yeah,
it's easier to just say it in a way that no one's going to question.
I'm probably guilty of that too when I ask people that question. Okay, so yeah, I mentioned that I'm a representative for a manufacturer. So as a man that installs the products, what can manufacturers do better?
I mean, I feel like the biggest issue that most people are facing right now is just lead times, which they've been getting better. But that's the biggest one that we face. Quality obviously has gone down. Any type of prefabricated material. Doors aren't put together as well as they used to be. Stock links come in scratched, which that doesn't necessarily fall on the supplier. That could be the shipping company. So, but I mean, I guess they could be packaged better, but they're not humongous issues. I guess it would really just be lead time and quality. And everyone talks about that triangle, the three things. You can't have all three things. You can't have cheap, fast, and good.
Right.
So, I mean, you can only complain about it so much, because if it's going to be fast and good, it's going to be so expensive no one wants to pay for it. And if it's going to be cheap, quality's not going to be very good either. Or it's going to be cheap and quality, but it'll take you forever to get it. So
do you think there's something, maybe this is an easy question. I mean, we could just say better quality control, but do you think there's something that maybe they're missing in that quality control equation? Like, why can't we get a better, is it the cost? Is it we're not paying that quality control? We're not packaging it correctly? I mean, do you see like the same mistake over and over again, or do you see just a variety of mistakes?
It is generally the same kind of stuff. Door hardware is stripped out, the screws are broken off, holding the door hardware on, pieces are cut too short, stuff scratched, it's just the typical stuff that happens. And yeah, I think it's just the kind of person that's willing to do that kind of job is just not always going to be up to a very high standard. Because, I mean, you got to think about their working conditions aren't necessarily, well, I don't know exactly what the working conditions are. I haven't been to a lot of these manufacturing plants, but you're generally working in a big warehouse or plant, and they're probably not very comfortable. It's probably not a comfortable temperature in there. They're probably standing up. They're probably doing a really repetitive task all day, every day, and they just get tired out of it. And most likely, as long as that gets out the door, how's anyone ever going to know who made the mistake anyway? That's what we've had the issue with our supplier. We tell them, they tell us, they're like, let us know whatever, material comes in and it's messed up. We tell them that, and they're like, they want like really specific details so that they can try to track down the person that's doing it, but they just don't really have a way to, like, I had just something I just thought of. We had a door frame come in the other day, and all the prep was backwards. Like, the pivot was prepped, the door header was prepped for the pivot on the interior side of the door, and the threshold was prepped for the pivot on the interior side of the door. Whoever prepped it got it all flopped around, and then but everything else on the door frame is meant for the door to be on the outside of the frame. It was a first for all of us. That was a new issue that we'd never seen before.
Yeah, I'm thinking about that, and you're right. It goes back to that triangle, right? Like, could we pay that position more, right? Or could we pay for another level of quality control? Or could we pay for more autonomous, automation, right? Could we use these different things? And the answer is probably yes. But you're right, the price of the product goes up, and you're very aware of how it works at bid time. It's hard to sell that, right? It's hard to sell that to the general contractor. That's tricky. That's a tricky one, because I would love to see everything come up, right? Everyone would make more money, right? But then does the building owner at some point not build the building because everything's too expensive? I don't know.
Yeah, people are already complaining about prices being so much higher than they used to be. I don't think that our fix is to make everything even more expensive.
Yeah,
for the rest of the world, because you just create new issues there, and that's just everyone getting paid out of a job. They just get pay increases till eventually no one wants to pay for anything anymore, and then you don't have a job at all.
I did see something, and I'll have a recording about it. I don't know if you've seen the things where I just talk about something without a guest. Glazier Nation puts those out, but one was about J.E. Dunn, the general contractor, and the tech that they're using in their manufacturing facilities. And you mentioned like being uncomfortable or hot, and it was like they were talking about spot cooling, so keeping specific areas cooler and more comfortable, and having Bluetooth so different devices can talk to different automated machines. Maybe there's something there. I do kind of think that tech advances in manufacturing and in installation can help a lot of those quality control problems, maybe.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's a good chance that it'll innovate to that point, especially with the introduction of AI into the entire world. It's going to change our entire world. Everything's going to change.
Yeah,
and it's just like the main labor portions will probably stay the same a little while longer before everything else changes there too.
Yeah, I'm a little tinfoil hat here, but you know, I see kind of this golden era where we work with the AI, right? So imagine you're, all right, I'm going to get a little ahead of myself. Like right now we have manipulators that pick up the frame, right? But imagine in 10 years you're wearing like an exoskeleton that makes you strong enough to pick it up on your own, right? So you're basically, I know that they exist in some fashion, but our glazers are not wearing them as like standard.
Yeah. I think that's a good chance,
right?
Yeah.
So advance to wearing one of these things, and you're just picking up 800-pound panels, no sweat. It's got devices that's keeping you cool and comfortable inside. You're a cyborg,
right?
Yeah. At some point though, like the intelligence realizes that you're not a necessary part of that equation. But at that point, does it keep us the way that we keep pets? Or does it realize that we're expendable?
That's the big question. Yeah.
I know you weren't
what's going to happen.
You weren't prepared for existential threat questions tonight, but with the amount of times I've driven to the football field in the last 2 weeks, we might just head down some different roads. Let's hop back to fitness. We let off with fitness and all your big numbers. I'm sure some people are curious how a full-time glazer fits fitness into their schedule.
It's hard sometimes. I mean, it doesn't take as much time as a lot of people think that it does. But, I mean, it's easier in the winter because the gym I work out in does have heat, but it doesn't have air conditioning. So, and they have heat, but they don't keep it warm. It's like just enough that the water in the water fountain's not freezing. But, yeah,
you don't have days.
Some days just
hold on.
ice all.
I got to bookmark that. You do not have air conditioning in this gym?
No, it's just basically just a warehouse with working equipment in it.
And it's been 97 degrees where you are.
Yeah, it was 103 inside of there the other day.
Okay, and guys are in here squatting 585.
Yeah, well, that's the kind of gym that those kind of guys want.
Okay, all right. So proceed. I'm with you. The actual event doesn't take much time, but the willpower to make yourself go do it after you've been slamming glass.
Yeah, that's the hard part. Yeah.
Okay.
We used
Any
to just give yourself the discipline. You gotta not let yourself think you can miss a day. I had to give myself, for the first couple of years, whenever I was trying to get into it, I had to plant this idea in my head that if I missed at one day, I lose all my progress. And I truly believed that, even though, I mean, I guess I didn't truly believe that, but I believed it enough that I wouldn't miss the gym for anything. Like, it didn't matter how late I worked or how sick. I went when I was sick some days. I'd still go in there and just go through the minimum required because I wouldn't miss for anything. I went until COVID happened. The gym shut down, and that messed me up. And then I went to the woods. I went to a national forest, and I harvested some big rocks, and I brought them home. And then I had a 40-pound rock, a 90-pound rock, and a 120-pound rock. I weighed them, and I was doing my workouts with those rocks when
this is the content we want. This is the social media content I want. Is this dude just getting rocks out of the wood and throwing them around?
I've thought about it. Yeah, I think that's kind of an iffy legality thing, taking rocks from a national forest. But
maybe
I took them from this portion where no one ever goes. It was like way back in this area they had logged. But yeah, me and my roommate, we used to work out together, and then the gym's closed. So then we would do these caveman rock workouts in our backyard, every night where I would just like pick the rock up and I'd like do a set of squats holding it. We were doing like overhead presses with the rock, and it worked. I mean, because the gyms opened back up several months later, and I was just as strong as I was when they had closed. So I maintained my strength by doing that. I didn't get any stronger. But
how did you form that discipline? Was that something you had prior, or was it I got involved in fitness and I created it through this this routine of telling myself you cannot miss?
Well, what happened was it was when I moved out of my parents' house, because I used to be really skinny. I was 6'2", 140 pounds, and that's what gave me the motivation, because I moved out. We didn't have a scale at my parents' house, so I always kind of just like ignored. Like I knew I was skinny, but I ignored like how skinny I was. When I moved out and I was buying stuff for my first house, that me and two of my coworkers were renting together, I bought a bathroom scale and I weighed myself, and I saw that I weighed 140 pounds at night when I just ate dinner. And I looked it up. I was like, what's a healthy body weight for a guy that's 6'2"? And like, it was like 175 to like 205 pounds, like the healthy range. And I weighed 140.
Yeah.
35 pounds under the healthy weight limit. And I was like, something's got to change. So I got a gym membership the next day and started looking up like how to gain weight, diets and stuff. I actually ended up, have you ever heard of the gallon of milk a day diet?
No. That sounds brutal though.
That's what I did for 6 months. I did gallon of milk a day, even on weekends, no matter what. I never, ever, I had the same discipline with that as I did going to the gym. I never, ever missed a single day, no matter what. Even when we traveled and me and my family went on vacation, yeah, I was still drinking a gallon on the car drive up there and everything. I gained like 70 pounds in a year or something, or 60 pounds. I gained 20 pounds the first month.
Are you supposed to drink that much milk?
Not long term. It won't hurt you short term. Yeah, you're not supposed to do it for very long.
I had a similar experience, but I got into it a little later than that. But yeah, I was always super skinny. Now you, as a second generation guy, you were probably installing like during high school and stuff, right?
Oh yeah, I started my first summer that I worked. I was 13.
Yeah. Okay. My first install was 14. Yeah.
Until now.
And so you were installing as this skinny guy. I mean, was that challenging sometimes to lift like doors and heavy lights of glass?
I always felt like I was plenty strong. I've always been basically as strong as all the other guys. And I guess that's part of what helped me like, cope with or ignore how skinny I actually was. Because I mean, I always did fine. Like I don't remember ever. I mean, obviously when I was a kid, I didn't ever pick anything up when I was like 13, 14. It was just anything. I'd only pick up stuff that was like 40 pounds.
Sure.
But once I graduated, I mean, I was setting 110-pound units by myself. You know, pretty much like really, I really don't handle stuff that's like much bigger now than I used to.
You were setting lights of glass that were your body weight.
Yeah. Just about. Yeah, close to it.
Well, that helped you with those big numbers then. You had the strength, you put on the weight, you got the size. So yeah, just kind of like self-found discipline.
Yeah.
And then once you've developed it as a habit, you know, people say when things get challenging, you go back to your habits. And if you've developed a habit of being disciplined, that's a valuable trait to have developed.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I saw something the other day that was a guy that decides the hiring and firing for a company. He's like the guy that interviews people. And he said that he'll pretty much always hire someone that he can tell works out, just because he knows that they're willing to wait for delayed gratification and they're consistent. Because you can't fake into being fit. You have to be putting in the work, and you have to be willing to wait for the results, because it takes a long time no matter how you do it.
Yeah. It takes a long time for you to see it too, right? Like, you know, other people see it first before you see it, and then you have to get to that point where you see it, and then you have to maintain it, right? Like, it's important, and I think that's you know, obviously not the only thing you want to hire on, but it shows discipline, and you're right, it shows delayed gratification. I knew a hiring manager back in the day that would only hire people that played team sports as like a, you know, at some level, they had to have had played some team sport. And that kind of always stuck with me too, as a father now, like, you know, our kids like sports, so it works out great, but we were pretty set on they had to play some team sport just for that experience.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's cool. I played a few sports growing up, but it's really good memories. I'm glad I did it.
Yeah, on the way home, I was definitely going to turn this entirely into just a youth sports podcast, but we got content creation in, we got glazing in, we got young people in the trades in, and we got all your big lifts in. I'd be embarrassed to tell you what my numbers are, and then all my numbers that I tell you would be from 15 years ago. So,
yeah, that's every guy. And then all the old numbers are way higher than they actually were. Every guy you talk to used to bet 315.
Oh yeah, there's a dude on TikTok that goes around and he goes, "What's your max bench?" And dudes will say, you know, 275 or whatever they say. He goes, like $500 if you can bench 275, and he has people like bring out a bench and plates, and they never can.
No, yeah, it's all time best back when they were in shape. No, every guy at the shop was stronger and more athletic than me when they were my age. That's the way it's always been.
Or, yeah. The old guy at the gym always tells you what he used to lift. So you lift with coworkers, is that correct?
Yeah. All the guys I work out with are coworkers.
Yeah. So you must have like the most beastie glass installation techs in the state of Arkansas.
It was pretty hilarious. A couple of weeks ago, we were starting a handrail job, and our project manager was out there. He's this guy. He's like 50. No, he's 60. He's 62, and he's our residential project manager. And he got to the job first just to start getting stuff kind of figured out. All the glass was already there. And he's there talking to the homeowner. And then we show up and we start setting glass. And the homeowner was like, "I like the way you did that, Charlie." He's like, "You just make a phone call and then 4 humongous guys show up, start putting glass in." Because, yeah, all the guys who work out with, we're all over 200 pounds. So, yeah, they're all in good shape. No one's winning.
That's great. That's great. Yeah, and I mean, if they have the discipline to do that, they have the discipline to work hard. I love it, man. We got to develop something like that teaches that at trade school somehow. That would be amazing.
Yeah, that would. I feel like it's moving that way. Like, I feel like the fitness portion of the Instagram Reels and TikTok and stuff are like motivating a lot of young people to be more disciplined and stuff. But also, that might just be my algorithm, because I also just keep up with also a lot of weightlifting and stuff. And so it kind of goes hand in hand. People that work out and the discipline stuff, it kind of goes together. And it also isn't really far with the trades.
No, you're right. It doesn't. But I mean, like, okay, so like back in the day when I installed, like our best installer was a guy that went to the gym at like 4 a.m., you know? So maybe there's something there that goes hand in hand. I thought he was insane doing that, but he was also on a bunch of trend too, so probably helped him.
Yeah, that's a big motivator to not be wasting all that money that you're spending on.
If he's listening, Wolf, he knows exactly who I'm talking about. But there's something there. Oh yeah, the algorithm for exercise, fitness, and lifting. You're right, and I think it is changing things for young people. Because, like, I know the 90s was definitely not glorifying that stuff. That was all about, like, being a slacker and Kurt Cobain, long hair, grunge. So it's definitely, like, things change. They're cyclical, I guess.
Yeah, it goes that way a little bit with this quiet quitting trend that's kind of growing popular, where people are talking about working less and getting paid more. So, I don't know. There's always going to be a division. There's always going to be some people that are really disciplined and want to work really hard anyway, and then there's always going to be people that want to get the most that they can for as little work put in. Yeah. It's just human nature.
Yeah. I don't think you can get away from that in a mass population like we have. Dalton, did you want to throw anything out there? We got your at Dalton Abram. It's Dalton Abram without an S. Dalton Abram, singular Abrams.
Yeah, and everyone was supposed to make it Abraham all the time. always.
You know what? For some reason in my brain, I had an S on the end, but I'm looking at it right now.
Yeah, that's the next most popular one. They'll literally read it. They'll be reading it, and it'll be Dalton Abraham, even though there's no. It's like they think that it's a typo or something. They're like, oh no, that should have a ham at the end.
Right.
But no, yeah, it's just Abram.
That'd be an
I don't think so. I don't think I'm so not popular on social media right now. Besides TikTok is the only one I would care about really pushing anyway. I mean, I do have a fitness Instagram. It's just big, cool, strong, tough guy all together. Yeah, that's my fitness Instagram.
I love it, man. Big, strong, cool, tough guy.
Big, cool, strong, tough guy. It confuses me. I forget the order of stuff sometimes, but yeah, it's big, cool, strong, tough guy. No numbers.
Sounds like something
hard tough guy altogether. That's my
like a comic character. That
y'all the best lifts. I have all my best lifts on video on there, so you can believe that I actually did it. That's not made up.
Yeah. In this day and age with social media, you can't be making up your numbers or someone's going to call you out to do it.
Yeah, I got to have it on video.
That does sound like a comic character that my 7-year-old made up, though.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's what it was. One of the girls that works in our office was talking about making a gym appealing. Whenever we were talking, my dad was talking about opening a gym. And she was like, yeah, you just need to make sure that it's appealing to like the big, cool, strong, tough guys.
Nice.
And then I took that name because I thought that was pretty funny that she said that.
Yeah, that's what y'all's gym, the Barbell Club is, right? A warehouse, no air conditioning, big, strong, cool, tough guys. Big, cool, strong,
pretty much what it is. Yeah, because Crunch Fitness just opened Crunch Fitness just opened a town over, and that's where all the softies went.
I've never been to a Crunch, but yeah, I'm assuming it's the same chain as an LA Fitness.
It's like Planet Fitness, but they have free weights. But yeah, it's just a air conditioned, heated, super comfortable, super easy, no intimidation gym.
The Planet Fitness business model is genius, though.
Mm-hmm. It worked. That's the most successful chain by far. Most successful gym chain by far.
They decided that the way they would get there is to have people not come to the gym, and the way that they achieved that.
Well, they made their membership so low, people don't care. They're like, it's too much of a hassle to cancel. I'd rather just pay $9 a month and not have to do it.
Yes, but the way they made it appealing to people that don't want to go is they got rid of all the things that people that do want to go want.
Mm-hmm.
So they got rid of your squat rack. They got rid of your bench. They got rid of your heavy dumbbells. That were all the scary things, right?
Yeah, they did a study. They checked. Yes. They checked to see what their members, because they had like 10% of their members were actually using their memberships. So they were like, why are 10%? They're like, why are so many people actually coming to the gym? And they checked to see what those people were using. Yeah. And it was squat racks or what they wanted. I don't know if they ever actually had squat racks in there, but they were like, all right, well, we're definitely not putting any of that stuff in our gym.
Yeah. And they got rid of it.
It took them right appealing. And that's actually why. Have you ever seen how they'll have like the donuts and the pizza and stuff once a month? They have that day you can come in and get free stuff. They use that so people will justify it, because people are like, oh, it's only $10 a month. Worst case scenario, I just come in and get free lunch one day and it's paid for.
Yeah, there you go.
And that's what helps justify people to have this membership that they don't use.
I mean, I'm sure $120 a year is significant to some people, but I would say for the most part, people that can afford it will do it, and it's not a big deal to them.
The average Planet Fitness has like 10,000 members. Yeah. And if you ever go to a Planet Fitness, it doesn't look like they have 10,000 members.
The one by me is crowded, but I think it's just a product of the area that I live in kind of blew up as people moved to Florida, and the infrastructure really hasn't caught up to it.
There's probably a lack of other gyms in the area. That's just the best option.
Yeah. That's the only like Globo gym we have. There's like one or two smaller, kind of like I'll say family owned. But yeah, for the influx of people that have moved to Florida, and my specific area where I live, it's like the parking lot is always full. I've thought about getting a membership just to go in there and like get a change of scenery. All my workout is done in my garage.
Yeah, that gets old.
Yeah, you know, it's in the morning, it's dark, I'm by myself. I've turned into a feral creature out there, but I thought it'd be good to go get the lights, but I'd never have done it. I probably won't at this point, so.
Yeah, it's hard to have the discipline to work out when it's just your house, because it's so easy to stop halfway through, or it's so easy to get distracted.
It is a thing for sure. And then when you get in those ruts, it's hard to like get back going. But
there's actually a lot of people that work out at our gym that have home gyms, just because it's easier for them to get that mindset change of actually going to the gym. It's like, because it's like they say, like, it never really feels like you're like working out when you're just working out at your house. But they talk about like if you actually go to the gym, it like changes that drive over to the gym.
Yeah,
change your mindset. You go there and you actually feel like working out. You don't just feel like you're just doing a workout in your garage.
Yeah, and there's like the level of peer pressure, right? Like there's other people, and like, you know, you're not performing to impress anyone, but like there's other people, and you kind of have to keep moving and keep doing the thing. So there's value to it for sure.
I can tell you what was cool. We used to have we had an opportunity to rent a warehouse, just an extra only warehouse for like storage for a little while for really cheap. It was a contractor that we worked with that owned a couple buildings, and he had one open up, and he was just like, hey, if you guys want to rent this for like $1,000 a month, you can have this, I don't know, 800. Well, I don't know. It was probably like 1,000 square feet of warehouse. And it was a little bit more extra space than we needed. We put a couple glass racks in there, and we'd store like big orders over there. But we had enough room that we put some workout equipment in there. And it was like right around the corner from our shop. So it was like a 1-minute drive to get there. And we put a power rack in there so we could do squat, bench, deadlift. And we accumulated like 600 pounds of weights, and then got some dumbbells and stuff. So we had like enough that it was like a full size or full
This was before COVID, right?
It was actually after. It was like after COVID and all the gyms had opened back up. So we could just go straight from work, and that eliminated the like trying to give yourself the motivation to go to the gym, because it's like you're basically already there when you get back to the shop, because it's just a 1-minute drive over there. So it was really easy for us to just like get off work and you go straight to the gym. No one's around, so you don't have to change clothes. We were just working out in our work clothes all the time. And that's where we all made the most progress.
I'm surprised you were able to get 600 pounds of weight. That was my struggle, because I built the garage gym after COVID, and it took like a long time to get everything I needed. Like it started with just bands, like resistant bands, and I couldn't find. I couldn't.
You can find stuff on Amazon now. It's easy.
Now it's easy.
You can order standard barbell plates on Amazon, but no. Where most of it came from was there was a set came on Academy. It was a barbell and like 365 pounds of plate, or the barbell with enough weight to load 365 pounds. And we bought that set, and it was cheap. It was like $300, and that was our main set for a long time. But then we accumulated a couple of other 45-pound plates. We eventually got to where we could load, over 500.
How did this fit in with the rocks? Did you do the rocks first, and then you built this?
This was after all of it. Like
I see.
It opened back up. And yeah, so we were wishing we had this set up during COVID so bad. This was just like a couple months after, like the gyms opened back up and weights weren't so hard to get. And yeah, this was like probably 2021 whenever we started it.
Yeah, there was a period of time.
The rock. We had the Stone Age for a long time.
There was a period of time where I was going on Rogue and Rep and all these sites that sell home gym equipment. There was a period of time like April, May, June of 2020 where like you just couldn't get anything. Like everything was sold out.
Yes. You had to go to the woods.
You had to go find rocks at a national park.
Yeah, that's your best option.
Dalton, greatly appreciate your time, man. I'm going to let you go. That I do appreciate the fact that although we didn't turn it into a youth sports podcast, there wasn't a ton of glass content. So I'm happy with that. Congratulations on Content Creator of the Year for last year. And yeah, man, keep it up.
Yeah, of course. Thank you. It was a good time. You got
All right,
the
man.
sports idea for next time you have someone that has kids.
I think, yeah, there might be a spin-off coming.
Yeah, it sounds like a good idea.
All right, dude, keep it up, and I'm looking forward to some more content from you.
All right, yeah, I'm gonna get back into it.
All right, brother, you have a good night.
Yeah, you too.